Good afternoon, good morning, everyone.
Good afternoon, everybody. Hi, Seb.
Welcome. Hey, Ben, how are you?
I'm good, thanks.
Welcome to this new edition of our webinar series. We'll give everyone some time to join us. My name is Seb, one of the founders and CEO here at Melting Spot.
And I'm Ben, I'm CEO and co-founder as well, Melting Spot.
We'll be covering a super hot topic in SaaS today with in-app learning. There's a number of different ways software editors try and onboard and educate their users to make sure they adopt their product. We'll be focusing on one of them, and we're excited to take you through this topic with us today. You're joining us from a number of different platforms, so that's why we're going to give you some time to join. Wherever you are, feel free to drop questions directly in the chat, and we'll try and take questions as they arise and answer them on the fly. So feel free to, don't be shy, feel free to jump in, interrupt, ask questions. This session is designed to be collaborative, and we want to make sure we answer all your questions. All right, so I think we're good to go. I'm just checking that everything is running smoothly here. Yeah, until in the meantime, I think we're pushing in the chat a resource that you're welcome to download on that particular topic that we'll be covering today, if you want to dive deeper into it after the show, and we're good to go. So let me share my screen and make sure you're accessing that content fine. Give me a thumb up if it's all good. Looks like
it's all good.
Wonderful.
At least on my side.
Great. Awesome. Awesome. So let's start with a few observations around what's top of mind for B2B SaaS businesses and in particular customer success leaders around the world today. What we've seen from a number of different studies that have been conducted is that among CS, adoption is coming to the fore. It's becoming a really hot topic, a lot more so than in 2024. There's a number of reasons behind that, but essentially what we're seeing is that making sure that existing customers adopt the product is becoming probably even more important than acquiring new customers. So adoption is really a super hot topic. If you look at those items here on that table, delivering value to customers is top of mind. Scaling CS is coming next, and then usage and adoption. These three items are highly interconnected, and so that's probably why it's really important that you train your users effectively to make sure that they adopt your product really quickly. We know that the first 10 days using a SaaS product are critical, and that it takes 10 days to make sure that you take your customers to time to value. And so that's why we're going to focus on that particular topic. Other observations, I love that number. It's a really big number. It's 36 days is the number of days wasted by anyone on the workplace for lack of training using their day-to-day softwares. So we use a number of different softwares, 10, 11, 12 different softwares on a daily basis. And for lack of training, we waste 36 days because we don't use those softwares to their full potential. In fact, 23% only of features in B2B SaaS are actually used, which is a reflection of the 36 days wasted not using software appropriately. 49%, about 1 in 2 employees in the workplace are disappointed with their tool stack. So no matter how advanced the softwares, we're disappointed, probably because we don't really know how to use those softwares. There's a gap that has been building between what softwares are able to deliver and what us users are able to actually master and use. And 50% of B2B software users feel that they haven't been appropriately trained. They haven't received adequate training with their software. So whether you're using like a finance software, a HR software, a CRM, ERP, whatever kind of software you're using, 1 in 2 people feel that they don't know how to use this software properly. So there's a huge gap, a big opportunity that we want to help you address with appropriate training.
And just to make sure we are clear, these users we're talking about here are your clients. If you are a software vendor, a software editor, these users are your clients. So 1 out of 2 of your clients are not feeling very confident when it comes to using your software. And this is due to a lack of training.
And the way SaaS professionals tend to address this problem is by taking their users on a somewhat disjointed journey. We try and send emails to our users. This is how you should be using my software. Email 1, email 2, email 3. Oh, and by the way, you should check that tutorial in my help desk. And so we're taking our users to a separate place. You might as well ask your colleagues, they might know about this software. Or please read our e-learning courses on our learning management software. Or maybe you join a webinar. All this journey here is very disjointed. Content is all over the place. And as a consequence, your users feel completely lost. And that's the problem we're trying to address with in-app learning today.
Just being curious, sorry, Seb, to interrupt, but just being curious, how many of you guys are offering training content on a dedicated LMS platform? I'd be interested in this information, in this figure. If you can maybe comment in the chat or in the platform you are watching us, would be great.
I'm just checking questions now. Here someone's asking, can in-app learning fully replace traditional training methods, onboarding, one-on-one calls, in real life sessions, PDF documents, slide decks? Really, really good question. We're not saying that all this content is not useful. At some point, you need to have some degree of documentation. What we're saying is that it's all over the place and it's got to be centralized or easily accessible. And we're going to give you hints as to how you address that. In terms of solutions, Ben, you want to talk through this?
Yeah, sure. When it comes to solutions, because this problem of software adoption, as you said, Seb, is pretty common. And it's a hot topic for all software vendors, at least in 2025. So there are solutions. Melting Spot or in-app learning is not specifically the one or the must-have solution. There are other solutions, and some of you guys have already implemented digital adoption platforms, for example. These tools are pretty interesting and useful when you want to help your end users navigate inside your software. So these in-app guidance solutions are pretty effective when it comes to helping users navigate inside the software. But it doesn't build long-lasting upskilling. So it's not a training solution. It's more a kind of help to click solution. The second to come solution is learning management systems, LMS. Some of you have implemented such tools. They're great. They're even very cool if you want to train employees on cybersecurity, compliance, privacy. They're great if you want to train customers, but they lack integration with your own software. So you're going to be training your end users on a specific and external platform, and that's probably the main problem with LMS when you try to train software users. You are going to train them outside the software. These users are trying to navigate, and that's where there is a kind of friction along the line. So it's cool, but it's not 100% effective. And then there is the manual training, so the one-to-one customer success phone call, the onboarding sessions. All these manual training methods are effective, but they're not scalable. So if you need to train hundreds or even thousands of users on a new specific feature that your tech team has just delivered, it's not going to work. It's going to be too complicated, too expensive. And that's where in-app learning can be a total game changer to train all your users to, for example, this new feature I was talking about. So these solutions are great, but they are not hitting the target. And in-app learning can be a cool alternative to these three solutions I've just talked about. What is in-app learning? Basically, it consists, as it's written here, of training users continuously. So not just at the beginning when they sign up to your software, and it also consists of training users inside the flow of work or inside your software to avoid asking your users to attend or to complete courses, e-learning sessions, onboarding sessions on a different platform than yours. These in-app learning tools are going to be connected to your software and your user base segmentation. These tools are going to be able to identify, spot user gaps in terms of knowledge. So if a specific cohort of user is not using a specific feature or should use a specific feature, then this is going to be identified by the in-app learning tool you're using. And finally, these tools are great to deliver training inside or even learning paths, directly inside your software. So where your customer are while they work. Okay.
The way I like to illustrate this, how in-app learning works, is that traditional methods consist in taking users to learning, and so pushing them to a documentation site or moving them to a webinar solution or whatever. You're taking users to training. In this case, with in-app learning, you're taking learning or training to your users, and so that completely shifts the context and really allows for some lot more efficient training. I think there's a few questions. There's a question around, does that work with any software? Good question. We won't touch too much on how technically in-app learning works, but essentially any SaaS, any cloud-based software can use in-app learning. And there's a number of different technical delivery options, be it through iframes, using an SDK, or using a browser extension. But as long as your software is cloud-based, you can deliver in-app training.
Let's maybe take the example of CRM, of a CRM.
Yep.
And it's going to be very insightful. A CRM, all of you have a CRM, I guess, or kind of CRM. It's a complex tool. Training is needed to get used to all the feature set. There are clear adoption gaps on those kind of tools. The admin team is usually overwhelmed by support tickets. Users are asking plenty of questions regarding, so that they believe these are bugs, but they're not bugs. It's just knowledge gaps. They don't know how to use the tool, so they believe there is something wrong, but it's not something wrong. It's just they don't know how to use the tool. It's clearly a lack of training explaining the adoption gap on such CRM software. So let's see maybe how it works, how in-app learning can change the game on this type of CRM software.
Yeah, let me share my screen again. Just one sec, firing up the demo. Okay, almost there. Great. Cool. Okay. Does the screen share come through fine? Yep, all good. Okay. In this example, I'm a salesperson using a CRM. We're using HubSpot as an example because it's a well-known, well-rounded CRM solution. It's got hundreds of thousands of users. I'm a hot new sales using HubSpot for the first time. I hit the company tab, and here I'm offered to click on a particular button. And when clicking this, I'm being presented with a number of steps on a learning journey where I'm going to be able to learn about the software or this particular feature and learn why and how to use it. This learning path, as we call it, can be made of a number of different assets, different resources, and different formats as well. For example, I can take an e-learning course here and follow a step-by-step micro-learning process. I'll be offered to take a quiz to make sure I got the answers right and I got the right proficiency level. I can also take typically, sorry, going back to the learning track there, I can read it. I'm invited to read the document and even attend a workshop that's being delivered in my flow of work. So I can register to this workshop, and when it's live, I can simply join from within my my software, from within HubSpot. So that's one kind of learning experience that you can push using in-app learning. But this step-by-step learning journey is very important when it comes to onboarding new users specifically, or getting existing users to start using new features. You can also use in-app learning more simply by pushing one single resource, such as a webinar or an e-learning course inside your software at particular points, critical steps, critical points in the user journey. You can also use a different, yet another learning experience, leveraging peer support by adding a forum to your software navigation. Very handy if you know that one particular feature is going to raise concerns from users, and you know that, as Ben said just now, they're not bugs, they're just adoption gaps, and users can learn by themselves or from the rest of the user community. So you can create a user community around a particular feature and let them ask questions, provide answers. As an admin, you can flag the right answer to turn conversations into knowledge, and that kind of experience. So as you can see, you can mix and match different formats, but more importantly, everything comes to the fore of your screen, inside your flow of work. And that's what makes in-app learning completely different to any other type of support or training strategy.
Maybe, Seb, how much is it customized to every user?
Yeah, so the way it works is often when you deploy an in-app learning solution, here we're obviously showcasing Melting Spot, but in the background, in the back office, you're able to, as you said earlier, connect with your user segments, manage your audience, create groups. And typically here, I only have 2 groups created, like newbies, so sort of new users, new customers that have started using the tool recently, and more advanced users. And depending on what category I'm in, I'm going to be presented different learning tracks. So learning experiences for beginners or for more advanced users. And groups can be built using conditions and smart properties, and to make sure that they're always maintained and
dynamically maintained, or automatically maintained. Okay, great.
Question around how do you decide where to place learning widgets in your products? That's a really good question. I think it's down to what features you want to focus on, where you want to move the adoption needle. If there's one particular feature that's creating more value to your business, then you might be focusing on that particular feature. Typically, CRM features have started deploying AI in their feature set. So here I want to use my Copilot AI assistant inside HubSpot. If I want my users to use that tool, I can drop a little widget like this with an article to read about the feature and learn how to use it. So because as the software editor, I want to push usage around this particular feature, I'm going to drop a widget here. Or if I want to make sure that my users learn the basics on the home screen of my software, I want to add this onboarding step-by-step learning path. So down to where you want your users to more efficiently use your software.
So it's really a product marketing issue or a customer success issue to place the widgets, the knowledge where it makes the more sense.
Yep. There's another question around how you balance self-service training content delivered in-app, so in-app learning, with live support or one-on-one calls. Yet another really good question. I don't think there's I don't think there's one unique good strategy around software adoption. Certainly, you need to mix up self-service onboarding materials, everything that you don't want to repeat countless times, all the generic information about how to use your product. All this should definitely be delivered self-service using in-app training. But you can also have like one-on-one sessions for more value-adding tips, tricks. You can also like mutualize your support sessions by organizing group sessions live in this fashion, like we shown earlier. Here, there's a number of different customers joining. So there's not the traditional approach and the in-app learning. I think everything mixes up. You need to mix and match the different formats and make sure that you have synchronous and live formats as well to maximize the learning experience. That's it for this particular demo. I hope everything's clear. In case you want to dive deeper into the different formats, what a learning track, what a learning journey should look like, happy to jump on a call offline if you want. But for now, let's pick up the presentation for a second.
Yeah, we are almost at the end of this presentation. I think there is an additional slide regarding the benefits of in-app learning. The main benefit is to offer continuous learning to your end users and make sure that training is delivered over time. That's a main issue in SaaS or software adoption. Usually you spend a lot of time training your customer at the very beginning of the contract. So a few days after you sign up, you're going to spend, or your customer success team is going to spend a lot of time onboarding this user, but basically 70 or 80% of the onboarding process is all about training. And there is an interesting figure from the Harvard Business School saying that in 90 days, you are going to forget approximately 80% of the knowledge delivered during the training session. So it's great. I think it's important to train your users with a one-to-one or a one-to-many session, but you need to keep in mind that your users also deserve continuous learning. The second benefit is clearly improved adoption. If you implement such an in-app learning solution, you're going to be able to match the education score of your customers with the adoption rate on specific features. So, for example, if you deliver a widget or if you deliver training content related to a specific feature inside your software, a month or a couple of days or weeks after, you're going to be able to evaluate the impact of this widget on the adoption rate of the feature the widget was related to. So that's also great to match and evaluate the impact of training on adoption and feature adoption. And last but not least, because this is probably key to retention, in-app learning will make users more autonomous and more satisfied because they are autonomous. They learn by doing, they learn by themselves how to use the software. Then they are happier, they are more satisfied using this software. And in the end, they have a better perception of the software. So that they are going to churn in a very low proportion compared to a situation where training was not appropriate. So better satisfaction is really the third benefit, but we have the three main benefits of in-app learning here: continuous learning, improved adoption, and better satisfaction of your end users.
Cool. There's maybe we can take one last question. We like to stick to schedule, so there's 1 minute left. There's a question around common mistakes made by the software companies when deploying an in-app training strategy. I think that there's again, there's no single way to do this right, but there's probably one major hurdle that you need to avoid. It's like building an enormous quantity of knowledge and not segmenting your audience enough and sort of confusing your users with way too much information. So I think that the key here is to properly segment your audience, not rocket science, a handful of segments maybe, based on user types and user maturity. So as we discussed earlier, like beginners or advanced users, and maybe a few user types as well. And when you have that properly mapped out, make sure you have at least one learning track for every particular segment, and make sure that users only access the information that's super relevant to them. Because if you simply like aggregate everything you've created in your various content and documentation sites, and add them up and present this to your users in their flow of work, they're going to be overwhelmed and you're going to lose the entire benefit of in-app training. So good segmentation and spot on content, highly relevant, is probably the one of the keys to successful in-app learning.
Another key is maybe user experience. In-app learning has to happen in-app, and as you said, Seb, earlier, that there is many ways to deliver in-app training or in-app learning. You can, for example, you could decide to add code widgets and make sure that those widgets are directing the users on specific resources, content resources that are hosted outside your software. So everything that takes your users outside from your software is something you should really think about, because it's complicated to keep your users inside your software. So in-app learning needs to really remain in-app. It's not just a link that you can create in-app, but directing to a resource that is externally hosted. Everything should be in-app, and the whole navigation should be in-app. Okay. So user experience, the experience you are offering to your users is also very important for this in-app training solution to work and to be 100% effective.
Awesome. I think time's up. There's a number of questions that we haven't been able to take. What we'll do is we're going to provide answers to these questions directly in the chat. And if you want to find out more, we're going to push a link to book some time with any of us, so you can dive into those strategies, share perspectives, ask about tools and solutions. We'd love to help. And bye for now. Enjoy the rest of your day wherever you are, and we're going to see you on another webinar very soon. We have a number of different sessions coming up on specifically on our Melting Spot Nation community. So stay tuned, and look forward to seeing you there.
Thanks to all of you listening to us, and thanks, Seb. It was great to host this webinar with you.
Yeah,
again.
Likewise. Speak to you soon. Cheers. Bye-bye.
Speak soon.